Taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
Good morning, everybody. What is up? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. You're watching The Morning Vibe, and The Morning Vibe is on Monday and Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Usually I have my co-host, Mr. Ryan Knight, with us. He's supposed to be here, so I hope everything is okay with him. But we jam, as they say, on Monday and Friday mornings with everybody. So let's get some house rules. First up, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Hit the notification button. Also subscribe. We are now over 1,500 subscribers. So now, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, then you need to, if you are up to it. Got to hit the 1,600 barrier. And I'd say in about, I'm going to do a special thing for the 1,500 subscribers. I was planning to do it next Monday, but I think I'm going to do it the following Monday. There's a method to my madness there. So hang tight. But if you haven't subscribed and you're up to it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, if you would like to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group where there's a lot of conversation. I posted some conversations over the weekend. The first two I had about the Black Business and Professional Organization. They've been posted there for reference because we had another epic conversation last Friday in regards to the BBPA mainly, but other African Canadian organizations, just in general, the landscape with Angelina, and she rocked the house. I mean, man, we went for 2 hours and about 15 minutes, and it could have kept on going, but it was epic. So thank you again for everyone who caught it live, or if you're going to catch on the replay, please, epic conversation. And then finally, Indie Soup Media TV. I'm a content contributor, and a member of the advisory board for Indie Soup Media. Saying, what's Indie Soup Media? Indie Soup Media is an independent content creators OTT, over the top or on the top. I don't think that's what it's called. Those letters mean. That's run by our good friend Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and there are many independent content creators that are featured on the platform. I am one of them. I have about 3 or 4 of the epic conversations that I host on that platform. So go check it out. And again, they've been around for 5 months, have over 15,000 YouTube subscribers. So that is that. Let's see what's going on in the comments section. Good morning, Fitness IQ Cam. Hope all is good with you. Otherwise known as Fitnets. Yeah, there's lots of things going on in their life. Let me just leave it at that. But I will say that she asked for my assistance last week on getting a new computer. I'm thankful that I was able to help her out. So thank you for reaching out, and thank you for allowing me to serve you. KSEYLRWFQ. I still like to say FV. I haven't had the FV for a while, but no problem. That's all right. And from Colorado, JJ Mars. Okay, JJ Mars, you are from Colorado. I'll hail you up, but also want to know the weather report. and what is going on with the politics in your country now. So, people, what are your thoughts on Joe Biden saying, I'm not going to run for a second term for the presidency. I'm now going to head it over to Kamala Harris? What are your thoughts? Is the United States, like a few years ago, the question went, wow, can we are ready for a black president? Now, is America ready for a black female president of mixed heritage? Would love to know your thoughts on that. So JJ Mars, you're a reg here. Your family would love to get the weather report and your thoughts on the political landscape going on in the United States. If you do follow the channel, yesterday afternoon, we had Black Canada talking with myself and Cesar Nadima Musa, and he went in on state of politics, the American Democratic Party, the American Republican Party. So, hey, check out the replay. It was epic, epic, epic. What else was going on? Okay. JG Mar says, nice, cool day today. A little haze due to forest fires. All right. All right. You know, that's something. We haven't had too much of the forest fire haze this year. If you remember last year, especially in Canada, the forest fires and the haze from the forest fires was quite something to handle during the year last year. So that is cool. But yeah, people are chiming in. Good. Hey, we're just doing the appetizer here. What do you think? Can Kamala Harris win? Would you like her to win? And then more importantly, is America ready to have a black female president? What did you do on your weekend? Myself, I stayed pretty quiet. I needed some downtime, so I didn't do too much outdoors. But I went out for dinner on Friday night to great restaurant, Laz Restaurant up in Markham. Oh, it was good. It was good. Good restaurant, good restaurant. Did anyone in Toronto go to the Molson Indy? There was a number of events going on over the weekend in Toronto. Did you catch any of them? Everyone's quiet this morning. Are you really quiet? Are you on vacation? What you been going on with today? It's a quiet audience this morning. Wonder why. Is it because Ryan's not here? Is it because Ryan's not here? That's why you're not checking us out this morning? But you know what? It's all good. It's all good. Okay, JJ Mars says, Democrats are in disarray. Kamala will not be the nominee. Even Obama. Whoa. Well, it's interesting you say that, JJ Mars, because since the events of yesterday, Kamala has raised $50 million for her campaign. And she says she is going to run. Obama not supporting her. It's interesting. Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, gave their kudos to Joe Biden, etc. Now, some people are saying, yeah, he doesn't support, but other people are saying they don't want to look at like it's a coronation. Don't know. And it seems that a lot of Democrats, at least the high-profile Democrats who were thinking that they may run, or a lot of people were thinking they may run, are saying, you know what, we support Kamala, we support Kamala, we support Kamala. So it's going to be very interesting. It seems that the party is in more unison with Ms. Harris as a nominee than Joe Biden. That's what I'm seeing on my end. But I'm telling you, during our conversation yesterday with Cesar, my conversation with him, wouldn't you like to see a debate between Kamala Harris and 45? Ooh, boy. That could be fire. I was listening to one political pundit saying, look, he says, I want to, whatever I need to pay, I'd love to have a front row seat to that debate. And will she even debate him? I think she has nothing to lose debating him, because I think in one of her tweets, she basically said, I've prosecuted people like him. I've prosecuted thieves. I've prosecuted rapists, adulterers, thieves. So I'm up for the challenge. But yeah, if you remember, Ms. Harris came to prominence back in when 45 was in power in regards to impeachment hearings, and that's when her star began to rise. Now, man, would that be a debate? I think those numbers would be big time, big time, big time. So that is it then. good weekend. And of course, I haven't said it long. Weather in Toronto has been amazing. It's going to be amazing again this week. A little bit humid, but not too much rain compared to the flood we had last week. Was it last Tuesday or Wednesday? Last Tuesday. Wow, it was scary. But enough said. Our new friend is waiting in the background. Her time is really tight, so we don't want to mess up her jam. All right. So everyone, we're going to take a bit of a break, and we're going to have a conversation about an event coming up at Toronto Harbourfront 2 weekends from now. But hey, it's early, and it's also happening, if I'm not mistaken, during the weekend of Caravana. Who else is saying? Okay, JJ Mars says, Biden thwarted the Democratic primaries to prevent other competitors entering the race. Interesting take. All right. For those people that follow the Dr. Vibe and the Dr. Vibe show, on Saturday nights we do a conversation called Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. That's Aisha K. Saggers and Laura Lala Key, two wonderful African American queens who discuss the sense and nonsense that's going on in America politically and socially. So we are trying to see if we can have a conversation sometime this week about what's going on in America. So that's why you follow. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, and talk about we're going to have a little bit of island soul.
Taxes, inflation, and the
wrong thing. There.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paige. I am a marketing consultant and the host of More Than a Mom, the podcast. I am here at the Soundwave Summit, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Vibe, and the gems he dropped were unmatched. An accidental conversation really changed my whole plan. And if I had him 3 years ago when I started my consulting career, it would have made a major change. The biggest thing that I learned that I'm taking with me is understanding that I do not have a show, I have a solution. And I think that's something that's not talked about enough. Another thing that really adjusted my mindset was the power of positive language. I was telling him about some of my problems are asking for help. I'm always pouring into other people, but it's hard, and it's a problem that I can't get that same thing in return. And he said, it's not a problem. It's something that, what did you say? Not a problem. You said, oh, it's a challenge. It's something that's a challenge for me. And that simple adjustment of language, I went away to lunch and I called 4 people and I'm like, hey friends, we need to change our energy. We need to change our outlook. We are solution-driven people. We do not need to do things the way society tells us to do things. This checklist that we feel like we need to fall under, this 10-minute conversation we had, it changed up everything. So I'm so thankful for the gems. I feel like I'm going to go back and make a whole new to-do list that's based on how I need to do things, a different way of looking at things, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you, Dr. Vibe.
Thank you, Paige. Love that. So good to have Paige always supporting the Vibe guys. All right. And also just want to do a program alert. Coming up this Friday, Minnie on Cam is back for her monthly visit, giving perspectives from a disabled person's lens. Can't remember exactly what topic she's going to be chatting about, but you know she's going to rock the house. Also, for those people who do follow the platform, the first Monday of each month, we have Carolyn Nicole coming on, talks about health, nutrition from a holistic lens. For those who do follow, you should have remembered that Carolyn and her team went down to Cuba to do a holistic missionary trip. And I spoke with her via text yesterday. They had an incredible time. She said it was absolutely amazing. I'm going to be chatting with her this week. Now, she usually is on the first Monday of each month. Now, this Monday coming up, I believe, or is it not this Monday. I'm getting my dates mixed up. She won't be on the first Monday of next month because it's part of a long weekend, civic holiday. So she'll be on I believe, August 12th. So not August 5th, August 12th. Let me just make sure I get my dates right here. So she'll be on August 12th. So just a program alert, a few things going on. All right, let's do one more comment. Yes, Wayne Harris, good morning. Wayne Harris, good to see you. Good to be here with you. Hope you and the family are fine and safe. All right, so we have an event coming up 2 weekends from now. I've got to get my times right. And it's called Island Soul. What's Island Soul all about? Well, let me put it on the screen and show you. Island Soul. So, happening Thursday, August 5th to Monday, August 5th. Island Soul. Huge fete, big soul. Soak out some island flavor, food, music, and dancing at Island Soul. So, soak up some sun and some island flavor during the August long weekend with the 26th edition of Island Soul, inspired by many different flavors of the islands. The festival celebrates the vibrant people and culture of the Caribbean through a unique blend of music, film, food, comedy, multidisciplinary arts, and cultural activities. And just taking a look, comedians like Tricks, musical performances, Destra, Johnny Osborne and the Hardcore Band, Paradise Soul Day Party. Look at this lineup: Calypso, Carnival, headpiece creations, storytelling, Caribbean storytelling, drumming, Mashup Roots Edition, Etna, everything Ocean Live, Jay Douglas, longtime friend of my dad, Jamila Sings Live. I better go through everything because they'll get mad. You didn't mention Lawrence by Yolanda, Mask Making Art by Vibe Arts, OCPA, So Calypso Stars Showcase, Pimento Soul, The Legacy of Harold Belafonte, Sean Jones, okay, Sounds and Pressure, Reggae in a Foreign Land, Stories at Dusk, Storytime and Steel Pans, The Clash, Starting from Scratch, DJ Starting from Scratch versus the Recipe Band, and Tiny Session, Island Soul. So there are all the activities. I want to make sure everyone got represented. All right, so we got something for you. We have the lady who's the driving force behind it. She is here, Arinola. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you, Dr. Vibe. How are you?
I am blessed, highly favored, and Magda for Miracle's solution for someone's problem, and Blackalicious. So there you go. There she goes. And when we're in the green room, she goes, "Do you always introduce yourself like that?" I said, "Yeah, 90% of the time I do." So, how was your day going this morning?
Fine, bright, loving the week.
Good. And you told me before we came on live that you worked some of this weekend.
I actually did. On Saturday, I worked at Unity Fest. It was a hip hop festival. So it had a lot of like breaking and beatboxing and ciphering and what have you. It's organized by Unity Charity. It was their 16th edition, but it was their first time at Harbourfront Centre. And it was beautiful. Great, amazing weather. We were on our new public square facing the water. So yeah, it was beautiful.
Wonderful. So seeing that this is the first time you've been with the Dr. Vibe show, Morning Vibe Show family, can you share a little bit about your background?
Okay, so my background is, so what I do is cultural producing. I've done this for about a decade on multiple continents. And before I was heavily majored in visual arts and, curating exhibitions and festivals and fairs. I still do, but I'm more so leaned towards like all the arts, basically.
How did you get into this world? How did that happen?
I think it was very accidental, to be honest with you. So after I finished my master's in 2015 in Scotland, I honestly wasn't really sure what my place in the arts was going to be, because prior to that, I studied science, cell biology and genetics, biotechnology. But I also always was a creative who did things like informally and like self-taught. Like I was a self-taught graphic designer, for instance. So I started interning at African Artists Foundation, which is this arts foundation in Lagos, Nigeria, and pretty much like learned everything from then up. So it's been 9 incredible years.
Can I say that, is it right to call you a global citizen? Because you've mentioned Nigeria, Scotland. Like, how did you end up in Scotland? Then so we need to know some of this journey, because I'm going, oh my gosh, like, am I seeing stickers all over your suitcase?
Well, yes, I would definitely like to think of myself as a global citizen, if or at least like hoping to be that, more so like in the correct idea. But yes, I think it might be like something that we do a lot in Nigeria or like Africa, which is just like try to like expand our terrain, travel, come out of our comfort zone. At least I do. Yeah. So, but how did I end up? So I actually used to live here before. So I used to live in Toronto from 2012 to 2014. So I left in the summer of 2014, went to pursue my master's. And then after my master's, I sort of felt like I was moving about too much, and I wanted to establish myself or like understand myself creatively somewhere, and it made the most sense to do it back home. So I just went back home, and 2015 went to Nigeria, and I started working in Nigeria, but like I didn't stay, so to speak. Like I still curated shows like in London and other parts of Europe, as we would do, because Europe is closer to Africa, and so we would collaborate like in the arts, back and forth, like that. And then I moved back here in 2022, beginning of 2023, January, actually, top of the year. And I immediately started working at Harbourfront Centre.
Oh.
And yeah, and I produced my first Island Soul last year, which was insane, amazing experience. It was the 25th edition. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
Thank you for sharing some of that story. What brought you back to Toronto?
So, well, apart from the fact that, of course, life started to get more real, and I don't know, just weird, let me say, after the pandemic or during the pandemic and onward. So that was the beginning of that line of thinking. And I think I also just wanted a new challenge. I felt like I had more to offer, and yeah, to contribute at large. And I'm definitely happy I did it.
So when you came back, was it your mindset to be back in the cultural arts industry in Toronto, or was it just, hey, whatever I wanted to do, pick something? Was it that focused to work in the industry in this city?
Yes. Coming back, that's of course like immediately what I wanted to do. So I have like, so there are a few things. I am a multidisciplinary creative. So like I have like 2 clothing brands, and
okay. You sleep and you do all this stuff. You don't you sleep, 2 clothing brands plus doing this?
It's ADHD brain. I don't know.
Okay.
But like, I think I'm my best when I'm working on multiple projects like at the same time. But I also, I think of things like in a different way. Like I don't think like anything, for instance, is like a failure. I love to learn and just like dip my hands in like multiple areas, as long as like it's the arts. I've been in service to the arts and artists for, again, like I said, the past 9 years. So even when I was curating exhibitions and working on festivals, my clothing line has always been there. In fact, like I will say this was like the first thing, like I started this when I was 17 and like in uni. Yeah. Like, so it has always been there. So even when I'm working on other things, like it, it's just like something that I don't know, stabilizes me, should I say. But yes, I wanted to come back and do cultural producing here, whether it be visual arts or just multidisciplinary arts, like in general.
Okay. Where do you get the mindset to be so a little bit of everything with the creativity? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird. I absorb things. I don't know if you believe in the zodiac, but like I'm Pisces, so I'm emotional, and I'm also like I'm a bit neurotic, and I'm also of course, like intensely creative. So I just see things like in my mind and try to produce them or just see where I can fit in that way. Like I'm not a traditional artist. I don't paint. I illustrate, but just like in the fashion sense, not nothing like grand, right? So from that perspective, and but I also, like I mentioned, love juggling like multiple projects. Like I know how to hold multiple pieces at the same time. So it only made sense to go into art administration. I'm also a writer. So again, artist literature and like writing is definitely like something that consistently comes in like every like area of my practice. Like one of the first things I did coming into the arts was not like immediately like start to produce projects. It was first of all grant writing, right? So I was like lead of programs in African Artists Foundation, and it would be like us starting the project like from scratch. Like it doesn't exist. Like, so we'll try to like match, for instance, like artists to corporate or like artists to brands and see like what makes sense as far as like corporate social responsibility. Because like unlike here in Nigeria, a lot of like the funding for the arts comes from private institutions, private individuals, corporations, of course, brands, services, things like that. Some also from the government, but as far as ratio. So in those different types of like cultural spaces, I get to harness different like areas of like my strengths.
Okay, good stuff. So for just doing a reset here for everyone who's checking in. Hey, what is up, Shelly Champion? Good morning. Hope you are fine and safe. Also, Dr. Tachi. Good to see you, Dr. Tachi. As always mentioned you earlier on, the power behind Indie Soup Media, Indie Soup TV. All right, let me have this conversation piece. So you came back to Toronto wanting to work in your lane. Was Harbourfront in your radar when you came back, or how did that come about, you being part of the Harbourfront?
Yeah. So I feel like I'm about to overshare. Don't really know how to balance it. But one of my traumas and fears was that I wasn't going to be able to get a job or like get back into the system, right? And I was coming from like a very entrepreneurial lane. So of course, like I mentioned, the clothing brand, but also like working on projects and things like that. So I just started to research a lot. And honestly, I'm not really sure, but it just happened.
Okay, cool. Also in the house, good morning, Opal Inspired. Hope all is fine with you. Definitely, if you like creativity, make sure you follow Opal Inspired on YouTube. All right, so Island Soul. You're the expert. Tell us about Island Soul.
Okay. So Island Soul is Harbourfront Centre's annual Caribbean festival. This is our 26th year. And it always happens during the weekend of Caribana. This year, it starts on August 1st, which is a Thursday, which also coincidentally is Emancipation Day. I guess we all know what Emancipation Day is. And the programming theme and the idea for Island Soul this year is the legacies and roots of the islands. And, the vision of the festival is to showcase, celebrate, and to highlight the legacies of the culture and the arts of the Caribbean and the movement from the Caribbean specifically to Canada and throughout Canada. But also examining veteran artists who will call like legacy artists, and also like juxtaposing them with contemporary artists, more emerging artists, and seeing how they're playing with those sounds and those ideas.
Okay. There's so many different ways I want to go, so I'll just jump in one way. How much planning does it take to do this? And when does it start?
Wow. I think for every major Harbourfront Centre festival, planning always start at least a year before. So a year ahead of time. whether it be budgeting or just reaching out to artists already and doing avails a year ahead of time. And we all know Harbourfront Centre. It's our 50th anniversary as well this year. Harbourfront Centre is a household name where, it's a
household name in Toronto.
Yes, household name. I think in Canada, like.
Well, okay, but I have a global audience, so you know what? Maybe just stop there. Maybe for our audience, because you can't make an assumption that everyone knows. Share a little bit about Harbourfront since it is the 50th anniversary.
Okay, so Harbourfront Centre is one of Canada's largest cultural, recreational, and educational centers and institutions. It's our 50th anniversary this year. We run festivals, arts programs, cutting across literally every discipline. We also try to cater to as many communities as possible. So such as Island Soul, which caters to the Caribbean and Black diaspora. We also have Kumba, for instance, which took place earlier this year. That was a month-long festival. Kumba is our Black History Month festival, but we also now have Kumba 365 because we don't believe that Black history should be chalked into 1 month of the year. But bigger than that, we have Taiwan Fest, which is like a partner festival. We have Tirgan, we have Barbados on the Water, Fun Philippines. So many, again, different festivals catering to multiple communities. We welcome everybody at Harbourfront Centre, and we always have something for every demographic. You're muted.
Okay, let's get back into the Island Fest link. Thank you for that little brief history on Harbourfront. But the Island Fest is it's been around going the 26th year, a year in advance. So are you saying on August 6th, you start planning for next year?
To be very honest with you, it's quite literally that simple. It's like some communication for next year already begun. And of course, while I'm like super focused on this year now, because it's coming up like on the hill, like we're on the hill of this year's festival, it's like I'm going to pick up conversation for next year's festival almost immediately after.
And how much of a team do you have?
So Harbourfront Centre, we're divided into multiple departments. My department is cultural engagement. So cultural engagement department is responsible for most of our cultural festivals and community engagement pieces. But we also have like a PFA department, which is like performing arts department. Doesn't really do much for Island Soul, for instance, unless I'm having like a dance piece, like a contemporary dance piece, and I want to bring them in as like collaborators. But we have like a marketing department and like a visitor experience department, a volunteer department, media, multiple again, and everybody, all hands on deck. We produce the festival collaboratively with, of course, having like a lead producer. We have like a production department, of course, which is like super instrumental into everything we do.
Wow, this is serious. Now I see why you say a year in advance.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Let me ask, what was it like doing your first one last year, with it being the 20th? Like you love big challenges. 25th anniversary, your first, your first Island Soul. You don't like things easy, do you?
Well, yeah, I feel like my friends are like, you really like hard work. I didn't understand that until last year. It was daunting, of course, because I was relearning my life here. But also, like, again, I came January 5th, started immediately. And so it wasn't like it was the next day. I got to stage manage Kumba, which took place in February of last year. I didn't produce that. Diana, my superior, did. But for Island Soul, I was the lead producer, so I was able to get that time to do the research, the planning, and of course, like run everything by all the people I met on ground. It was daunting, but we definitely got it done. It was a very, very proud moment. I got to bring Freetown Collective, and they're this amazing band from Trinidad and Tobago, and it was their first time back in Toronto in I think 8 years. 2016 was the last time they had been here. So those were some of my highlights. It was great.
When did you get time to rest after last year?
Rest. Oh wow. Okay.
Can I say a
I
bad four-letter word?
rested.
Okay.
I rested in March, I think, like March of this year, after Kumba, of course. I got to go back home, visited. It was beautiful.
Nice, nice. What are some of the, well, geez, what are you looking forward to this year? Because they're going to say what are some of the highlights, but that means you're going to have to pick and choose. What are you looking forward, or what should the audience attending be looking forward to this year at Island Soul?
So again, because it's our 50th anniversary, we try to program according to the theme and the energy of Harbourfront Centre, which is celebratory, colorful, spicy, groovy. It's really going to be a vibe, Dr. Vibe. Yes, exactly. It's going to be a lot of turn up. We have day party. We have concerts on concerts on concerts, different styles, scope. We have, big, spectacular splash out bands, but we also have like intimate, acoustic, emerging artists, discovery type situations. We have film screenings. There's, we have a comedy night. There's so many. Can I start name dropping now? Okay, so the festival kicks off.
You can do that, because if anyone's mad, they're going to come to you, not to me. So you go for it. It's your show. I'm just steering the ship. You're driving the ship.
Okay, I'll try to not leave anybody out, or I'll try to mention as many people as possible. So the show kicks off on August 1.
Well, hey, by the way, if you want, I can put up the screen and you can run down if you want.
Right? Okay, yes, please.
Would that be helpful?
Please.
Okay,
yes, absolutely. Yes.
Let's do that. So make it easy, because I don't want anyone roughing you up. So all right, so let's do this. All right, so there you go.
Yes,
so here's help.
Exactly. So the show starts off, I'm going to go chronologically. So this show kicks off with Tricks and Friends, which is a comedy night happening at Harbourfront Centre Theatre. This is a ticketed event. The tickets are on sale, so definitely visit www.harbourfrontcenter.com to buy your tickets. It's going to be Tricks alongside Corey Bell and Mike Paramore. They're coming in from the States. Tricks is one of the more established comedians, while Mike and Corey Bell are, not as popular as Tricks, but I also not Tricks' first time at Harbourfront Centre. He always delivers an engaging, electric, amazing, of course, hilarious show. So I definitely encourage everyone to come for that. We also have on August 2nd, we have Jamila Sings. So Jamila Sings is a 7-piece band. They're coming from Nova Scotia, a very, very interesting band. So Jamila herself is the lead singer, and why I find Jamila interesting is she used to be background vocalist for the Wailers and like Black Uhuru, which are some classic veteran bands from back in the day. So she has a lot of experience in the field, and now she's the lead singer of her own band, Jamila Sings. It's a 7-piece band. It would be their first time in Toronto. So I love bringing some of these new just artists to the audience, specifically, not just to Harbourfront Centre, but to Toronto, like people who never gotten a chance to play and are excited to do so. And then we have Destra. Destra is an award-winning artist from the States as well. And she's going to be on the concert stage. Her event is also ticketed. She's famously called the Queen of Bacchanal. So, it's going to be live. It's going to be a lot of dancing. It's going to be, just lit and exciting. And then for the rest of the weekend, we have a lot of veterans. We have Johnny Osborne, we have Jay Douglas, we have a sound clash that we also had last year, which is between Recipe Band and a DJ. So it's like live band and DJ, and the DJ is DJ starting from scratch. It's just like a very nice synchronization of sound and music. Very, very beautiful. We also have Paradise Soul. It's a day party. So for people who don't necessarily want to be outside, I want to be inside, indoors, jamming, raving up. Paradise Soul, they have a lit, nice lineup of DJs. We have DJ Castrella, DJ Damija, DJ Lambo, DJ 42, MC Kwesi Dan. Beautiful, beautiful events that they always put up, Lagos and Toronto. We also have Tiny Session at Island Soul. Tiny Session is a traveling showcase, definitely like a platform to discover emerging artists. So they have, Empara, Flow, Freddie John. Freddie John is a comic. We have Zenith Soul. So again, these are more all servants. These are more emerging artists. Again, it's just a weekend of vibes and energy. We have Empress Mashup. Empress Mashup is something we started last year, and it's an all-female reggae jam session, right? Backed by Resolution Band. And Resolution Band is an all-female 7-piece band. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like, you have to experience Resolution Band. Like, it's one of those ones where you just have to be there. And singing alongside Resolution Band for this year, we have Tasha T, and we also have Jamila. So Jamila is going to sing with her band on Friday, and then the following day on Saturday, she's going to sing with Resolution Band. Again, another just like mix and mash of sounds and just the beauty and the synchronization and the symphony that creates. We have something for every demographic. We have djembe drumming for youth, but also like any people of like any age can join that, by Vibe Arts. We also have mask making by Vibe Arts. This is typically like a kids activity, arts and craft activity. Beautiful, fantastic. Yeah, like again, we also have film. So for people who, want to be outdoor one day and want to be indoor the next day, to just have, some popcorn, wine, relax. We have Stories at Dusk. We have Sounds and Pressure. Sounds and Pressure is super interesting because, again, in line with the idea and the theme of the festival, which is Legacies, it's a documentary that looks at veteran artists, Caribbean artists, but in Toronto. So we have Johnny Osborne and we have Nana McLean. So we're going to be airing those 2 episodes because, again, it's more like a sneak peek exclusive. This is not available publicly yet. It has only been shown once before, and we're presenting this in collaboration with National Film Board. So that will be another one for the books, just to come and learn how these people and their music have traveled around, and just learning more about like the veterans again of reggae music in Toronto and in Canada in general. There's going to be a talk back at the end, so you get to meet some of the artists, you get to meet the directors of the film. Nana McLean will be in the house, so will Johnny Osborne. Yeah, so again, like I said, there's something for everybody. Oh, I forgot to mention Everything Oshan. So Everything Oshan is he's a Nigerian Jamaican artist, but also like a band. He was born and raised here, hails from Brampton, and I think it'll be interesting to also just experience him. He has never played at Harbourfront Centre. Yeah, so just introducing them to this like new cool audience, I think it's just a match made in heaven.
Wow, I think you covered everybody. Well done.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, you'll hear from them, I guess, if you didn't, right? So Shelly Champion says
that.
She says, I attended Island Soul last year. It was so good on the Saturday that I returned on the Sunday. The entertainment was outstanding, especially Kirk Diamond and the movement of Ahirel. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I say Ariel.
Ariel. Okay, there we go. Ariel. Fantastic. She also
Yes.
says that live band and DJ class last year was amazing as well.
Thank
Dr.
you.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Shelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Chachi says, I guess these events sound fascinating. You got to get up here, Dr. Tachi from Florida. I know you don't want to do with Canadian Coal, but she did go to school in Buffalo. So right now is the time to come up because we got heat in the street, just like you got going on in Florida. Now, McMillan Group, always good to have them here. Ray McMillan says, good morning, everyone. What are the differences between creating events in Europe and on the continent versus Canada? Have you ever done events in the Caribbean or the United States?
Um, so I think the difference between, or in my experience, the difference between curating events or creating events in these different parts of the world, honestly, it depends on the organization, of course, but it also depends on how you come in. Like, are you a guest curator, or are you, grounded staff? Like, it just really depends. I think that it's not easy anywhere, but there's always new learnings, as there would be for literally like every event. Like curating last year's Island Soul and this year's Island Soul, definitely different. But it's also like you come across like different challenges and like different solutions to those. I think it might be, but again, this is my experience, but I think it might be easier to create and curate events on the continent and in Europe and traveling people down. Like when I did like Lagos Photo Festival, for instance, we would have like multiple artists from at least like 45 countries in one edition.
45 countries.
Right? Isn't that crazy? And that would be from like all over the world. But I think like in my experience here, we mostly stick to this side of the globe, should I say. So bringing people from the Caribbean, bringing people from the States. I personally, for any events I've done here, I've not brought anybody from Europe, for instance, or from Africa. So yeah, like I think that I don't know, there's a bit of lag in terms of just like traveling people versus like the other way around would be like the only like real difference, I will say, which is not, yeah, like it impacts like the programming, and it definitely like also impacts just like the possibilities. But yeah, like I think just traveling people here is a little bit like more difficult. Sometimes like even like there was a time, well, that was not my experience, but like Skip Marley, for instance, was like supposed to come here but couldn't get in, and hasn't yet so far. So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Opal Inspired says, sounds like a fantastic lineup. I can hear Arinola's love for what she does and her enthusiasm for the event. Well done to her and her team.
Thank you so much, Opal.
Yeah, and Shelly says, you're welcome. The events were a vibe, so well done. So there you go.
Thank you.
What did you learn from last year's event, your first one, that you're taking into this year?
Okay, I mean, I think I always knew this, but even more so now, definitely have all my backups lined up. Like my plan A, which is like my ideal, if the world was perfect, this is my lineup, this is what I want to have, but have like, a close plan B and a close plan C for literally like everything and every aspect. And you know what? It's a unique position to be in, because like I said, I work in service to artists. That's how I see myself and my career. But it's also like I definitely work in Harbourfront Centre and for Harbourfront Centre. So again, like I said, unique position to be in. So for artists that I've started conversation with, but I'm unable to have them, it's just loosely trying to figure out where in the next future I can fit them, but also like never over promising, because I always have to be careful because I want to deliver as minimal and as few bad news as possible. So never over promising, definitely like under promising always.
Good stuff. The Macmillan Group has a follow-up question. Are visa requirements what caused the challenge?
Oh, yes. So sometimes visa requirements and the policies are always changing. Like last year, right in the midst of trying to bring Freetown Collective, a visa requirement literally changed. But fortunately, it was for the better. So there is that. But also like within the last few years, COVID policies as well. Again, some of those changed last year. So there's that as well. So yeah, it's always to do with travel, mostly.
Good. All right. What are you excited about for this year?
You mean apart from the festivals?
Well, the festival. What are you excited about when it comes to Island Soul this year's edition of Island Soul?
So I'm always, and it might be biased, but like I'm always excited for anyone who's showing up in Toronto, in Canada, or at Harbourfront Centre for the first time. So the first timers, I'm always just excited to see, was this a fitting match? Like, did this work? Just excited to see them have a good time, have a good experience in the city. There's that, but also specific events I've never programmed or attended. Johnny Osborne, again, these are veterans, but I personally have never programmed them. So just to see how these work within this year's Island Soul, definitely as well.
What have you learned about yourself after one season of Island Soul?
Oh, wow. I think that one of my recurring lessons is because I can be anxious. So I have a bit of anxiety here, there. But one of my recurring lessons is everything I need, I have already, and everything I need is within me. So just always coming back to myself to learn more, to harness my strengths, to know that sometimes even when certain things present as my weaknesses, they really might not be. But I think just always having learning a fresh perspective, and never really, of course, being able to predict how things will go, and never being able to predict what lessons I'll learn, having different challenges to deal with. Last year, I was dealing with the challenge of it being my very first time. This year, it's a different set of challenges. So, yeah.
Good. How would you rate Toronto as an entertainment center globally? Because you've done stuff in different areas of the world. How would you rate Toronto as an entertainment center?
Okay, I think, I don't know what the rating will be based off of, but if I was just going to give a loose figure, number out of 10, I will say 7. Yes, because 7 because one, I'll mention the positives first. There's room and space for literally everyone. Every community has their own day, weekend, some organization catering to that community. So there's that. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's multicultural. I feel like it's my ideal world. This is how I think pretty much every corner of the world should be, because that's just globalization. This is where we found ourselves in the world, and we should definitely embrace it more. So there's that. And I think that being in close proximity to other people's cultures and communities, it emphasizes and I'm gonna say, the word is eluding me, but it emphasizes this humble approach. It just brings, I don't know, for me at least, humility, because you have to approach it from a place of, I don't know this, and so I'm willing to learn this, I'm willing to research this, I'm willing to enjoy this. How does this fit with me, myself, my culture. And for the most part, you're going to learn that a lot of us are just living very similar lives, very similar just experiences, and there's definitely always something for you to appreciate and learn within other people's culture. It's just so buoyant, especially when it comes to the arts. There's never a lack of stories to learn and to take inspiration from. So that. But on the other hand, and it's like so weird, the weakness is the strength. There somehow isn't like maybe like a unity, should I say, like in a sense. And you see that in, say, like availability of resources as it varies from community to community and culture to culture and people to people. So yeah.
No, I appreciate your response there, because that is a conversation, topic that comes up many times when it comes to especially the African Black community in Toronto, that the lack of unity. So, thank you for answering that conversation piece. Ray McMillan of the McMillan Group says, that is so true. I thoroughly enjoy the culture experience of other peoples in the GTA through their festivals. I find their experiences quite profound and educating. So that's why you go down to Harbourfront, because they have the world at the harbor.
Exactly.
They have the world at the harbor. Well, I know you've got stuff to do because you do have a big event coming up. Any final words you'd like to share with our family this morning?
Well, first of all, Dr. Vibe, thank you so much for having me. This was definitely a fantastic conversation. I lost track of time just talking and enjoying myself. So thank you for, this welcoming and receiving space. But also about Island Soul, again, don't forget to get more information about the entire festival, but also other festivals at www.harbourfrontcenter.com. We have most of our events are free. We have a few ticketed events. We have some pay what you wish events. We're excited to host you August 1st, 5th.
So a few things. First of all, thank you. You are a great friend. So, and anything you want to come back here to share about, you have a home here.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
We hope to have you back. No, we expect to have you back.
Something I hope to be back.
Good. And something was going to do at the beginning. I didn't get a chance to do it. What is the correct pronunciation of your last name?
Okay. So don't attempt it, but I'll just tell you.
That's why I want you to make sure you do it.
It's pronounced how it's spelled, but I'll just break it down into the syllables. It's Olowoporoku.
Thank you.
Olowoporoku. Yeah. And Dr. Vibe, please look through the events. Let me know, or let Paul know, who will let me know whatever you want to attend, whatever you're interested in.
You.
And we'll make it happen.
I appreciate that. Okay, one last thing. How much of a challenge is Toronto traffic? Because you guys are doing this the same weekend of, well, I call it, people call it Caravana. I call it a Marabana because it's flooded with Americans. But how much of a challenge is traffic in the city, which is not getting any better?
I know.
Impact the event?
What? It does. We try our best to mitigate as much as possible. We have like guards or people who like stay like in the middle sometimes and just like help with parking, help with the movement. But no, you're right. It definitely is always a challenge that we have to plan for. But it's not something that I'm new to because, again, coming from Lagos, it's traffic city. So yeah.
Right. Well, look, thanks again for taking the most important thing. You have time. Looking forward to hearing more about more events throughout the year. So Harbourfront, you have a home here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'll leave you with these two last things. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace.
Oh, thank you. You have
a great day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. You too. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. All right, family. Island Soul's in the house, and she pronounced her last name. I'm not going to try because I will butcher it. So I'm not going to give it a try. But Arinola was fantastic. And it's fun. Little secret. Before we came on live, I said, how much time do you have? Oh, I got about 25 minutes. She was on for longer than 25 minutes, family. So that means that you made it a great place for her to just share some of her journey and share about Island Soul. All right. So for those who want to find out more information, the link is in the platform on most of the platforms you're watching, the comment section, probably outside of LinkedIn, but it's there everywhere else. The link is there on the screen. All right. So I'm going to have a little bit of a change before we leave today. So I'm just going to put up something on the screen here. Some people may know this man. Many people should know this man. For those who don't know who he is, this is Louis March. Definitely a true leader in the African Canadian community, not only in Toronto, but I would say in Canada. Louis has been on this platform a number of times. And he was the leader of an organization called Zero Gun Violence Movement, which was an organization whose intent was to reduce the gun violence in Toronto. Was it 2 Fridays ago, I was in a conversation with 2 other gentlemen. And one of the gentlemen, halfway through the conversation, said, "Did you hear about Louis March?" I go, "What? What?" And he had told me, he sent me a shared text message from a group text saying that Louis, a lot of people call him Uncle Louis, I called him Dr. March, had suffered a stroke/heart attack. And he was in intensive care in a Toronto hospital, and that he was on life support. And when I got that text message during that conversation, I had to go silent for a few moments and sent prayers and energy, etc., to him and his family. And again, it wasn't, over the few days from hearing that, it did come out that, he was in the hospital on life support. Yesterday, I was, a few sources shared with me that he has transitioned. Such a huge loss, not only to the African Canadian community, but also to the community at large, the whole community. Louis and I had a number of great conversations. I didn't chat with him frequently face to face, but we chat with each other on the phone. Louis would travel all throughout the Greater Toronto area via transit to be a person shouting against gun violence. He was also one of the core members of the African Canadian Heritage Association. Very much an activist in the African Canadian community in Toronto for many, 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 many years. There'd be events that him and I would be at, and many times I'd give him a drive home because he still lives. I just say he lives about 15 minutes drive from where I live, and we have great conversations. This is a humongous loss. A humongous loss. And when I heard the news yesterday that he had transitioned, one person called me, then I began to see a few posts on social media. It's big loss. Big, big, big loss. And I just wanted to share those words. Yeah, Dr. Tachi, how sad. May he rest well. Yes. Rest in power. Dr. March, rest in power. Huge loss. Macmillan Group, my deepest, sincerest condolences to the family of Louis March, a true icon and community advocate. Big time. Absolutely. Huge, huge, huge loss. I haven't heard anything about arrangements if they're going to have a memorial. If I do, this is one of the reasons why you want to follow me on social media. I will share them out to the world. But Dr. March was so humble. The last time we saw Opal Inspired says, rest in power, my friend. Now, you had spoken to him a few times too, Opal. I think a few months ago. Last time I had a chance to be with Dr. March, we were at an event a few months ago, and I had a chance to interview him on stage for 15 minutes. He was on fire as usual. The funny thing is, we only found out about a day or two before that I'm going to be interviewing him. I said, hey, we're good. Came to the event, sat at the table for a few minutes, and then we just rolled on stage. And this is one of the reasons why you document things. I have the whole presentation recorded. I am thinking that what I should do is share that moment, the last one I had with him publicly on the platform. What do you think? Also, I'm definitely, we have a civic holiday coming up 2 Mondays from now on, they call it Simcoe Day. It's also Emancipation Day weekend here in Toronto. We are going to replay the last time we had Louis on the platform. That, I think, is the least I can do. Yeah. Opal Inspired says, yes, I am shocked and deeply saddened at this news. Yeah, many people are shocked. Like, I mean, truly shocked. The people that I've shared this with are shocked. Some of them froze. This is a big one, family. This is a big one. And like I said, we had so many great conversations on the phone, but also driving him home from events. So as I close this small tribute to Dr. March, he always said at the end of our conversations, keep fighting. So Dr. March, wherever you are, keep fighting. I'll make sure I keep fighting. And if he met any of you, if you have met him or if you did meet him, and if you hadn't met him, he'd always say, keep fighting. Keep fighting. So I know I'll probably have more to say about Dr. March, but I just wanted to share that today and just put him on the screen. I didn't want to have myself on the screen while I was sharing about him because it's all about him. And he was such a great friend. JJ Mars, RIP, rest in power. 100% JJ Mars. 100%. Okay. That is that for today. So just a catch up. This Friday, Midian Cam will be with us chatting about another aspect of being disabled and navigating through this thing called life. As always, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. And also, follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Again, would love you. If you haven't, follow me on YouTube. We want to hit 1,600 subscribers. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I am on, please feel free to email me. Excuse me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please feel free to email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. If you want to get in touch with Ryan, RyanOneilKnight.com, LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight, Instagram, Ryan.Knight.99, and email address workwithme@RyanOneilKnight.com. For myself, website address, thedrvibeshow.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at thedrvibeshow.com. X, formerly known as Twitter, at drvibeshow. An email address, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation called The Morning Vibe at Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. So as always, with a very heavy heart, I want to just say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Don't just manage. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless, peace to well, keep the faith, walk good, and keep fighting.